Ukraine sent a bold and powerful message to Moscow with a fierce strike. A Russian Su-35 fighter jet was shot down over Kursk skies, and though initial details remain sparse, the event's significance is profound. Ukrainian pilots, trained to Western standards and operating F-16 jets, appear to be shifting the balance of air superiority. Reuters was among the first to report Ukraine's confirmation of downing a Russian Su-35 in Kursk on June 7, 2025. The announcement, posted on Telegram, was brief. On the morning of June 7, 2025, a successful Ukrainian Air Force operation in the Kursk sector destroyed a Russian Su-35. No further details emerged immediately, but the message included a striking 15-second Telegram video. It showed burning wreckage, believed to be the Su-35's remains, captured by a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone. The footage underscored a clear point. Russia may hold ground control in Kursk, but it cannot dominate the skies. Later, more information surfaced. According to Kyiv Post and Obvious Online, this was no drone strike on a parked jet, but an air-to-air kill. A Ukrainian F-16 penetrated Russian territory, locked on to an active Su-35, and downed it in a direct aerial engagement. This is critical because the Su-35 was considered superior to any air asset Ukraine possessed until now. Kyiv Post reported unverified claims that Ukraine used a Dutch-supplied F-16, firing a US-made AIM-120 AMRAAM missile to destroy the Su-35. There was also early speculation that Ukraine may have showcased data linking capabilities by deploying a Swedish-made Saab 340 airborne early warning and control platform during the strike. More details will likely emerge soon. Aviation Online noted that Ukraine's Air Force did not explicitly confirm an F-16's involvement in downing the Su-35, though official channels strongly implied it. Sources close to Kyiv's government also affirmed that an F-16 was part of the operation. Both sides remained tight-lipped beyond initial statements. Russian media, per Aviation Online, acknowledged the Su-35's destruction, but offered few details. Russia also reported that the Su-35 pilot ejected safely and was rescued by friendly forces. Ukraine, meanwhile, stayed discreet about its tactics. Beyond confirming the Su-35's destruction, no specifics on the method were shared. Additional information came only from the Clash Report X account, which on June 8 verified the Su-35's downing and shared images apparently recorded by Russian evacuation teams. Video from a helicopter showed the smoldering Russian jet's wreckage from another angle, as the crew searched for the pilot. That's all known for now, at least officially. Speculation is rife that this marks Ukraine's first direct air combat kill of a Russian Su-35. This raises questions about how Ukraine pulled it off. The answer likely lies in a combination of AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles and a specialized Swedish airborne platform, boosting Ukraine's F-16 capabilities far beyond prior expectations. The AIM-120 AMRAAM is a medium-range air-to-air missile, per the U.S. Air Force's website. It operates in all-weather conditions, allowing pilots to engage targets beyond visual range. Compatible with F-16s, F-15s, F-22s, FA-18CDs, and F-35s, The U.S. relies heavily on this missile across its core air platforms, and Ukraine just demonstrated why. The missile measures 12 feet long, 7 inches in diameter, with a 20.7-inch wingspan and weighs just 335 pounds. Though not heavy to maximize destructive power, it compensates with speed and range, exceeding 20 miles at supersonic speeds. Its guidance combines active radar and inertial navigation for mid-course adjustments, and upon impact, a fragmenting warhead inflicts severe damage. Each missile costs $386,000, a fraction of the Su-35's estimated $85 million price tag per Popular Mechanics. Ukraine destroyed a high-value Russian asset with a weapon 220 times cheaper. Ukraine didn't execute this strike with F-16s alone. Per Aviation Online and Kyiv Post, the F-16 was supported by a Swedish-made ASC-890 surveillance aircraft, the AEWC platform mentioned earlier. The Tendar X account also confirmed that Ukraine's F-16s were likely aided by an ASC-890. Sweden announced the transfer of 2 such aircraft to Ukraine in 2024. Its radar can track targets up to 250 miles away. This platform's use is likely what worries President Putin most, as it supercharges Ukraine's F-16s to achieve the seemingly impossible. The ASC-890's role is key. When Sweden first delivered 2 of these surveillance aircraft, RBC Ukraine detailed their value in the war. Known as the S-100B Argus or Saab 340 AEWC, the ASC-890 was part of a $1.3 billion aid package, including tanks, ammunition, RB-99 guided missiles, a licensed AIM-120 AMRAAM variant, and 239 PBV-302 armored personnel carriers. Sweden showed strong support in 2024, but the ASC-890 stole the spotlight. Swedish Defense Minister Paul Johnson emphasized that it gives Ukraine new capabilities against air and sea targets, enhances long-range target detection, and acts as a force multiplier when paired with F-16s. That's likely how Ukraine used the ASC-890 on June 7th. Equipped with a long-range radar mounted topside, per RBC Ukraine, and powered by 2 turboprop engines, it reaches a top speed of about 330 miles per hour. While slower than fighters, speed isn't its goal. It can climb to 25,000 feet and stay aloft for roughly 7 hours, letting Ukraine deploy an asset that lingers in the air, evading Russian fighters while scanning the battlefield. Its active electronically scanned array, ASA, radar adjusts energy output based on conditions, offering flexibility. The ASC-890 can sweep vast areas for targets, then focus on smaller priority zones. Its radar range is impressive, covering about 193,000 square miles, with a vertical scan exceeding 59,000 feet. Wherever Russian jets are, the ASC-890 can spot them, relaying data directly to Ukrainian F-16s. Ukraine appears to be adopting a networked approach to targeting Russian jets. It doesn't send F-16s blindly into enemy territory to hunt. The ASC-890 likely pinpointed the Su-35's location while staying beyond its effective range. Once identified, Ukraine dispatched an F-16 to fire a beyond visual range missile and down the Su-35. That's the leading theory, though Ukraine's sparse details, beyond confirming the kill, fuel speculation about other methods. Defense Express offered alternative theories. In a June 7 report, it suggested Ukraine might have used a Mirage jet or a mobile air defense missile system to down the Su-35. The Mirage seems least likely, as its Mica missile's 37 to 50-mile range makes engaging an Su-35 too risky. Defense Express leaned toward a mobile Patriot system, but that would require striking the Su-35 on the ground or catching its pilot off guard. The Su-35's high G maneuverability makes it tougher to hit than other Russian jets, like the Su-34. Plus, using a $4 million Patriot missile or risking a Patriot system near Kursk's border would be costly. Of the options, an F-16 with Swedish ASC-890 support seems most plausible, though nothing is certain yet. Ukraine's Air Force only confirmed downing the Su-35 and expressed clear satisfaction. They even posted a sarcastic X update asking who did this after the news broke. Ukraine is keeping its tactics close to the chest. The only other detail concerns the location. The Su-35 was downed over Yurosovo in Kursk, per YouTube's Suchamimus channel. Near Koranovo, this area seems minor, but lies close to a hotspot of Russian military activity. Koranovo is where Russia is staging attacks towards Sumy after retaking Kursk territory lost to Ukraine. Ukraine likely launched this bold strike to ensure the Su-35 couldn't threaten its defenses against Russia's Sumy offensive. What does Ukraine's latest strike mean for the war? The takeaway is clear. Russia lost another high-value fighter, and Ukraine exposed a key weakness in Russia's premier military assets. Per AVAC Online, this is the 8th Su-35 lost in the conflict. Russia hasn't been crippled, as Kyiv Independent estimates it has about 100 left. Putin could replace the lost Su-35 if needed, but that means diverting a jet planned for other tasks. Still, Russia has lost nearly 10% of its Su-35s. At $85 million each, the Kursk incident shows Ukraine has cost Putin roughly $680 million in Su-35 losses over 3 years. These are losses Putin doesn't want, especially as they reveal Russia's most advanced air platform may not live up to expectations. Questions are mounting about the Su-35's effectiveness in modern warfare. These aren't new. In April 2024, the National Interest argued Russia was facing an Su-35 nightmare that was just beginning. It noted Russia's struggle to maintain air superiority over Ukraine since its illegal invasion, partly because the Su-35 isn't as capable as believed. Per the outlet, the Su-35 should excel with its canard design and upgraded wingtips, improving angle of attack handling over the Su-27. New control surfaces allow it to withstand 10G loads, and its phased array radar can engage beyond horizon targets. With a Mach 2.25 top speed and high maneuverability, it should dodge AIM-120 AMRAAMs if the pilot is alerted. But Russia's core issue, per the National Interest, is that Ukraine has found ways to down Su-35s even before the Kursk strike. Several Su-35s were lost before June 7th, with at least one crashing without Ukrainian involvement in March 2024 due to apparent mechanical failure, per The Guardian. This suggests the Su-35 isn't as reliable as Russia needs in both combat and basic airworthiness. That may explain why Russia often keeps Su-35s in rear areas during much of the conflict. Putin knows direct engagements with Ukraine's forces risk more losses. The Kursk incident proves it. The Su-35 was exposed as no match for an F-16 backed by advanced surveillance platforms. Another issue Ukraine's strike revealed is that Kursk isn't as secure as Russia claims. On April 26th, The BBC reported Russia declared Kursk cleared of Ukrainian forces after a campaign sparked by Ukraine's August 2024 incursion into Russia. Russian commander Valery Gerasimov confirmed retaking the last Kursk village under Ukrainian control, ending 8 months of embarrassment for Putin. Gerasimov praised the bravery of North Korean troops used in Russia's 70,000-strong counteroffensive to expel Ukraine. He also claimed over 76,000 Ukrainian troops were killed or wounded in Kursk's counteroffensive, though this lacks independent verification. Russia appeared to have pushed Ukraine out, but on June 7th, Ukraine proved Russia's control is shaky. As Russia prepared to use Kursk as a springboard for Sumy attacks, Ukraine's F-16 strike showed it remains fiercely contested. Another challenge for Putin is Ukraine's growing boldness with F-16s. When Ukraine received its first F-16s in August 2024, many assumed they'd be used for air defense. The Atlantic Council wrote in August that combat roles were unlikely then, with F-16s mainly bolstering air defenses. This seemed confirmed on August 27, when Defense News reported Ukrainian F-16s intercepted Russian missiles during a major missile and drone attack targeting areas including Kyiv. Putin likely welcomed this limited use, as F-16s staying in Ukraine let him continue missile and drone strikes from rear positions. F-16s could intercept some, but their missile loads are finite, and Russia might down a few through sheer volume. The Kursk strike shows Ukraine is getting bolder with F-16s. Signs of this boldness emerged in March, when Euromaidan Press reported Ukraine was shifting from pure defense to combined defense and offense with F-16s. It confirmed Ukraine received more F-16s, enabling greater risks. Recent photos of F-16 missions show them equipped with AIM-120 missiles, external fuel tanks, and Sidewinder air-to-air missiles, signaling Ukraine is now using F-16s to strike into Putin's territory. More fighters mean better protection against missile strikes, more successful airstrikes on Russian positions, and stronger air combat capabilities, per Euromaidan. It noted that additional jets from Western allies will only make Ukraine's air force more formidable. Putin just felt this newfound strength as one of his prized Su-35s became a smoldering wreck in Kursk. Ukraine has changed the game by turning F-16s into an offensive force capable of downing Russia's supposedly superior jets. This isn't the first time Ukraine has transformed outdated military hardware into a devastating offensive tool. They've also successfully repurposed Soviet-era S-200 missile launchers into monsters, inflicting heavy losses on Russia. Stay tuned for more breaking developments and in-depth military analysis through our recommended videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us tomorrow for the latest updates.